an old soldier, and I come into a room, and I see the troops. So how the troops doing? You all right? How about a hooah? There we go. All right, all right. It's great to be here with you this afternoon. My topic, diversity and inclusion, is something that is talked about a lot, referred to a lot, and I would submit, often misunderstood. A force multiplier. When I was stationed in the Pentagon, a gentleman by the name of Coleman was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And he was my big boss. In the chain of command, the big boss is the boss of the soldier. So my boss worked for the big boss. Now everyone knows Colin Powell. If you don't know Colin Powell, raise your hand. Shouldn't be any hands coming up. But General Powell has 13 rules. I'm sure many of you have heard them, seen them written. One of them is that perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. That's about the confidence. That's about the intent. That's about getting everyone together to get the job done, to achieve the mission. Now, when General Powell would say things like that, obviously we would sit up and listen. But apply that to officiating. Apply it to the topic of diversity and inclusion. My aha moment, I didn't even realize it at the time, but when I look back on my life, goes back to when I was 4 months old. At the time, my name was James Allen Kittleberger. And at the age of 4 months, I became Frederick David Coleman. You can understand what happened. I was adopted. But when that happened to me and then my life unfolded, you know, it was a situation where I was placed in the best environment that would allow me to grow. And in that environment, Fred and Mary Coleman inspired me to live a good life, to do what was right, and from my dad's side, to be a soldier. He told me when I was about 12 years old that, son, you want to be a soldier? You want to be a soldier? You should be an officer, be a leader, be in charge. He told me, and if you're going to be an officer, you need to go to West Point. That's the school for officers. So I strove and I did it, and at West Point, that's where I first became a football official. You see, you could only play the sport of football, intramural football. I wasn't big enough or fast enough to play on the Army team for 2 years. Then you had to be a coach or an official. So at the end of my second year of playing, I went to the director of intramurals, who happened to be my boxing coach, and I said, Mr. Creighton, please let me continue to play. He said, no, Coleman, you know the rules. You know the rules. You've either got to coach or officiate. What do you want to do? And before I could answer the question, he says, you're going to be an official. So he gave me a striped shirt, pair of black shorts, a flag, and a whistle, and there I was on the field officiating. That was the start. Now, at West Point at that time, one would say that the student body was not really diverse. In my class, there were 44 black cadets, more than had ever graduated from the school in the history. But as my military career proceeded and wound down and I transitioned into the private sector, I was a human resources person. They called it personnel management, and that's what I did. I did it in combat units, the 101st Airborne Division, the 2nd Infantry Division, the 3rd Infantry Division, and obviously at the Pentagon, but it was about people coming together. And in the private sector, after I retired, I found myself at United States Steel Corporation. Everybody's heard of U.S. Steel, one of the largest steel companies in the United States, now international. And they appointed me to be the first chief diversity officer for that organization. And that's where the light bulb came on. Now, I had been officiating all that time in the military, great opportunities in the military to officiate all kinds of sports. And when I found myself in that diversity and inclusion role, challenged with the leadership responsibility for that great organization, what could I do to make that a part of the fabric of the work world that we were in? So I sat down and I thought about it. It was a mindset change for me as I worked through the challenges that had to be addressed in that organization. But you know what I learned? I learned that diversity is about everyone. And I submit to you that we are all diverse. We're different. We're male, we're female. Our races are different, our backgrounds are different, our jobs are different. We officiate different sports. You see where I'm going? You see where I'm going? Diversity is about all of us. If we understand that, we embrace that, then our organizations can achieve that force multiplication to bring on success and accomplishment of the mission. So if you take nothing else from my comments, begin to think of yourself and your own individual diversity. We are special. When we come together as a team, that diversity will emerge. That will make our teams stronger. That will make our crews stronger, our organizations stronger. If we challenge each other, reflect on, listen to, appreciate the differences that we all bring to the table, that diversity and inclusion will lead us to success. So, in the Pac-12, where I'm vice president of officiating, I have to tell you it's a unique opportunity. I coordinate football, but also I work closely with the coordinators of the other major sports and assist them in carrying out their duties and responsibilities and procuring the resources for them to achieve success in what they do. I want to provide that force multiplication to officiating in all sports in the Pac-12. We focus on excellence in officiating. That's our goal. And to achieve that, we communicate, we're accountable. We communicate, we're accountable. Communication, you know what that is. Accountability, being responsible. We're also consistent. Consistency, showing up at the game, being ready to go. Doesn't matter who we are or where we are. And finally, we're transparent. When we make a mistake, we admit it. So with that goal of excellence, those areas of focus, the diversity of the unique aspect of who we are and what we bring to the table, once again, all of us, we will achieve success and we will bring honor, discipline, and integrity to our work. Thank you very much.